ceremony today, the best wishes and warmly welcome. Especially, I would like to send our sincere thanks to the international guests participating online with us. At around 3 a.m. The European time. And you should be sleeping at this time, so I'm very touched with your participation. Your presence here today is a great encouragement, affirming the commitment for strong collaboration with the government and different ministries and agencies of Vietnam and WEF. Ladies and gentlemen, the plastic is an important invention contributing a very important role in our everyday life and production. However, the way we use plastics in an unsustainable way, especially single-use plastic products, cause serious ecological and environmental problems. The plastic waste is considered at an alarming level, an urgent issue in Asia and at the global level. The majority of plastic is burnt or incinerated or dumped in landfill or released into the environment, into our ocean, causing very serious pollution, including marine pollution, because plastic waste is having negative impacts on the marine ecological system, community health, economic sectors, tourism, public health, and the whole society. It is now high time for us to act together to change our business and production model and the way we consume traditional plastic product towards a more sustainable, environmentally friendly manner. Ladies and gentlemen, in 2018, with the topic of dealing with plastic and nylon pollution, the government of Vietnam have proposed the global collaboration mechanism and regional collaboration mechanism to mitigate the plastic debris. The international mechanism like a G7 in Canada, the WEF, ASEAN in Vietnam in 2008, and WEF in Davos 2019. With the instructions and the leadership of the Prime Minister of Vietnam, Vietnam is pioneering in implementing many strong action programs to deal with the plastic pollution, supported by all classes of people in the society. Recently, the National Assembly of Vietnam have approved the Law on Environmental Protection 2020. With the additional provisions on recycling and reuse of the plastic products and the mitigation of the non-degradable single-use plastic products, nylon products, and encouraging the use of environmentally friendly products. It is an important legal background for us to recycle, reduce, and mitigate the plastic the litter in the coming time and to promote international collaboration. With such an awareness, we warmly welcome the Monterey of Vietnam and the WEF for your collaboration in implementing the National Plastic Action Partnership, NPAP, in Vietnam, and we hope that we can collaborate the state management agencies, enterprises, and community in efficiently managing plastic waste. Through that, we can actively contributing to realizing the ASEAN commitments on environmental protection mentioned in the Bangkok Declaration on Plastic Waste. At the same time, we are calling for enterprises and associations, international organizations, and the whole society to join hands with the government of Vietnam in an effort to reduce plastic waste. We need to focus on the following tasks. First of all, it is necessary to set up a legal corridor and institutional framework at the national level for the extended responsibility of producers of plastic products. Developing the system of technical regulation and standards on plastic so that we can produce plastic in a sustainable, environmentally friendly way, enhancing the recycling and reuse of plastic products, at the same time promoting the technological transfer towards modernization. Second, we need to enhance communication to raise awareness of the community on the consumption, smart consumption of plastic with sustainability, segregation of solid waste at source to enhance the recycling and reuse of plastic products, and limiting the use of non-degradable nylon and single-use plastic products. And next, promoting the international collaboration in technological transfer, knowledge transfer in relation to plastic use and production, to learn experiences and to share information within the region at the global level. We can also form the efficient collaboration mechanism at the regional and the global level to deal with the plastic pollution, so that our marine environment have a no plastic debris and with a green globe. So we require the Monterey of Vietnam to collaborate more closely with WEF and other countries, international organizations, to efficiently implement the National Plastic Action Partnership (NPAP) in Vietnam, as well as many other programs on reducing plastic waste. On our side, the government of Vietnam will create the most favorable condition for the NPAP in Vietnam to be implemented in a successful, efficient way, to become a good example for sustainable use of plastic model. The producers in Vietnam will be responsible for reducing plastic debris in the region and in the world. On this occasion, on behalf of the government of Vietnam, I'd like to express our sincere thanks to international organizations, enterprises, and people in Vietnam for your great support to the movements of reducing plastic waste over the past time. We would like to express our sincere thanks to WEF, different countries and territories, agencies, international organizations, for your accompanying, for your supporting and sharing with Vietnam in the containment of COVID-19 pandemic and dealing with the natural disaster consequences in central provinces of Vietnam over the past time. I would like to wish the president of WEF, the director of GPAP, all of the distinguished guests and your family members a Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year 2021 with great success and happiness. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, His Excellency Deputy Prime Minister Trịnh Đình Dũng, for the opening remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, the distinguished guests to the launching ceremony today, the Vietnam National Plastic Action Partnership, this is really the cooperation between the government of Vietnam, represented by the Monterey, with the World Economic Forum, to fulfill our commitments to end the plastic waste and also to kick off the circular economy. And we would like to introduce to you His Excellency Mr. Birger Brande, the President of the World Economic Forum. And due to the limitations to the travel, His Excellency Birger Brande cannot join us in person. So now, please have a look at the screen here. And
Your Excellency Nguyen Deng Trong, Deputy Prime Minister of Vietnam, Your Excellency Shen Hong Ha, Minister of Natural Resources and Environment, distinguished guests and participants. I would like to use this opportunity to congratulate Vietnam on this impressive response to a COVID-19 pandemic and on your successful chairmanship of the ASEAN in 2020, demonstrating your country's important role in mobilizing collaboration to respond to crisis, leveraging your region's resilience and focus on sustainability. Also, I would like to express my sincere thanks to the Deputy Prime Minister for his support, as well as Minister and the government of Vietnam for hosting us. While it's unfortunate that we could not join in person, this hybrid meeting format represents a very new and exciting direction for all of us, allowing us to explore the full extent of what is possible in a virtual and interconnected world. It shows that even during times of crisis, we are driven by the desire to connect and collaborate in whatever manner possible to forge collective solutions that will benefit our communities and our planet. We are resilient, agile, and united. Over the past 2 years, the World Economic Forum has been working closely with the government of Vietnam to research and identify pathways for building a stronger and more sustainable economy. As an organization dedicated to accelerating impact through multi-stakeholder collaboration, the World Economic Forum has really the honor to collaborate with Vietnam's leading policymakers, the business community, and civil society to conduct research and generate policy solutions for a wide discipline of topics, from human capital and skills development to improving the healthcare system and building new infrastructure. We are really delighted to build on this important work by formally launching today the Vietnam National Plastic Action Partnership, a collaboration platform that is bringing together Vietnam's brightest and most influential leaders across all sectors to build a Vietnam that is free from plastic pollution and waste. It's a vision that sounds impossibly ambitious. We will need to build an unprecedented coalition of people willing to work together. We will need to mobilize major investments. We will need to adopt sweeping system-wide changes that fundamentally transform people's thinking, behavior, and any semblance of business as usual. We will embark on a new path with a new roadmap and a new way of doing business. And looking at the diversity of the stakeholders joining the launch event today, I know this is possible. We have the willpower, the momentum, and the buy-in. The next step is action, action. Action that will put Vietnam on track to eradicate all plastic pollution and single-use plastics and achieving a truly circular economy for plastics. The Vietnam National Plastic Action Partnership will be a locally led, locally driven effort. We stand ready to support our colleagues in Vietnam with our resources, our lessons learned, our global platform. The World Economic Forum is honored to contribute and serve as a partner to Vietnam on its journey towards a more sustainable and inclusive future. All the best of luck, and thank you so much for our very, very important partnership.
Thank you very much, Mr. Burger Brande. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished leaders and guests, to provide to you on the strategic objective and activities of the NPAP in Vietnam. On behalf of the organizing board, I would like to introduce Madame Christine Hughes, GPAP Director of WEF, to make the presentation. It is your floor, Madame Christine Hughes. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Your Excellency Chinh Deng Jung, for your partnership and trust in the World Economic Forum in driving forward Vietnam's plastic agenda together. Thank you, Borge, also for the strong words of support from the leadership of the World Economic Forum. And thank you to all of you for being here today. His Excellency Mr. Chinh Hong Ha, Mr. Nguyen Van Thai, Mr. Va Tuan Nan, Mr. Van Nak Ting, Ms. Chinh Tai Ha, Mr. Nguyen Viet Cong, and Mr. Tham Nguyen. Distinguished guests, partners, colleagues, thank you all for being here today. Whether you're joining in person from Hanoi or dialing in from all over the world, it's terrific to see such an enormous turnout of such enthusiasm to work on this issue together. Next slide. Although I unfortunately could not be with you in Hanoi today, I am delighted to celebrate the launch of this very important partnership all the way from Geneva, Switzerland, where the World Economic Forum and the Global Plastic Action Partnership are based. And I very much look forward to returning to Vietnam and meeting many of you in person as soon as it is safe again for us to travel, with international borders reopened, and I'm optimistic that that will happen in the new year. The Vietnam National Plastic Action Partnership has been a long time in the making, and thanks to the dedication and the support of so many wonderful policymakers, experts, business leaders, and colleagues in Vietnam who were determined to come together to take forceful action to combat plastic waste and pollution. Next slide. We began in 2018, as we saw in the previous slide, with Minister Luhut of Indonesia. And that's when the Global Plastic Action Partnership came together, because we had leaders like the World Bank, the United Kingdom, Canada, Dow, Nestle, Coca-Cola, and PepsiCo, really pushing the World Economic Forum to make a difference. And by bringing leaders, change makers, and innovators from all various sectors together. The following January, as Borge has also mentioned, at the World Economic Forum's annual meeting in Davos, Minister Tran Hong Ha of Vietnam was one of the first leaders in the world to agree to work with the Global Plastic Action Partnership. And that's the beginning upon which all of this today was built. So we're incredibly grateful to Minister Ha for his faith in our potential at that very early stage. We began working hard to turn that vision into a reality. And I'm delighted that I had the opportunity to visit Vietnam in 2019, before the COVID-19 pandemic. I had an opportunity to meet with many government leaders and important stakeholders, such as Mr. Nguyen, the General Secretary of the Vietnam Chamber of Commerce and Industry, to lay the groundwork to building this important partnership. Next. While we had originally planned to launch this partnership earlier this year, the COVID-19 outbreak made circumstances around the world terribly difficult very quickly. It became our collective priority to keep people safe, to protect our frontline workers, including the informal sector waste collectors, and to change the way we live and work. And in the months that followed, it became clear that Vietnam had emerged as a leader in managing and effectively shutting down the COVID-19 crisis. Our partners in Vietnam had started safely meeting in person again, and there was a strong appetite from all sectors to once again fast-track the launch of not only a national partnership, but a national action plan to combat plastic pollution in Vietnam. And so earlier this year, we were absolutely delighted to create the Vietnam National Plastic Action Partnership Expert Group, an advisory panel of Vietnam's leading experts, researchers, and scientists. They have played a pivotal role in shaping the creation of a baseline for measuring the plastic pollution challenge in Vietnam, as well as a forthcoming national action plan that will lay out how Vietnam can reduce marine plastic debris by 75% in the next decade and move towards a transition to a circular economy for plastics. Next. In addition to delivering the crucial knowledge and action plans needed to dramatically reduce plastic waste and pollution in Vietnam, we will also create value in two other key areas. First, we hope to serve as a neutral, inclusive national platform that builds common ground for government, business, researchers, nonprofits, innovators, waste pickers, and young people in Vietnam to align on a joint approach to tackling plastic pollution. Every part of society interacts with the plastics ecosystem in some way, and every voice should be present at the table as we work to forge a collective path forward. Second, we will work closely with our global and national partners to help shape a favorable enabling environment to catalyze investment into Vietnam's plastic action activities for solutions both upstream and downstream. We are eager to boost capacity and support at every point across the value chain to reduce, substitute, reuse, increase collection, recycling, and disposal. Next. So we are here today to launch the Vietnam National Plastic Action Partnership, during which Vietnam becomes the third country in the world to pioneer this bold, transformative approach to addressing plastic pollution and embracing the circular economy. Even before the COVID-19 crisis triggered an unstable increase in the amount of mismanaged plastic waste, it was already clear that the business as usual model was not working. It is not working for people and communities who live along the coastlines, who depend on the marine ecosystem and tourism for their livelihoods. It is not working for women and marginalized communities who are disproportionately impacted by climate change and environmental destruction. And it is not working for our young people and future generations who have the right to live in a clean and sustainable world. Next. More than ever, countries around the world are looking for leadership on the issue of plastic pollution. They are looking to learn about successful pilots, proven strategies, and knowledge that can be shared and adapted across international borders. We believe that Vietnam has the people, the willpower, the capacity, and the determination to lead on this issue. Even before the partnership officially launched today, we had already engaged over 80 enthusiastic partners who are already actively contributing to the success of this platform. Next. And so finally, as we prepare to turn the page on what has been a very difficult year, we are absolutely thrilled to end 2020 on such a positive note, with the launch of this ambitious partnership in Vietnam that has the potential to truly turn the tide on plastic waste and achieve a more sustainable and inclusive world for all. Thank you again to Minister Ha and Borge, and I want to express my appreciation specifically to His Excellency, the Deputy Prime Minister, for his support and acknowledgement here today. We also thank the Director General of the Vietnam Environment Administration, the Country Director of WWF Vietnam, and many others who are honored to have speaking here today. And thank you all for also joining us for this important occasion. I'm very much looking forward to the remaining remarks. And thank you again for your support.
Thank you so much, Mr. Christine Hu.
Thank you very much, Madame Christine Hughes, the GPAF Director and the Member Executive Committee of the World Economic Forum. Ladies and gentlemen, next to the agenda, we would like to kindly invite to introduce Mr. Chen Hong Ha, the Member of the Central Party Committee and the Minister of Natural Resources and Environment of Vietnam to come up to have some remarks. Mr. Chen Hong Ha, please. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning from Hanoi. His Excellency Minister Trịnh Đình Dũng, Deputy Prime Minister of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam, His Excellency Mr. Birger Brande, the President of the World Economic Forum, Mr. Yuen Oli, the Director of the South Asia, the Asia-Pacific Agenda of the World Economic Forum, Madame Christine Hughes, the GPAF Director from the World Economic Forum, and the country director of the WWF Vietnam, the leaders of the different ministries, government agencies, and provinces, Madam and Mr. Ambassadors, the representative from the business communities, the representative from the scientists and the research communities. On behalf of Monterey, Vietnam, I would like to warmly welcome His Excellency Deputy Prime Minister Trịnh Đình Dũng and the distinguished guests to the launching ceremony of the NPAF today. We'd like to wish His Excellency Deputy Prime Minister and the distinguished guests good health and happiness. Ladies and gentlemen, the plastic pollution is really the urgent problem globally, and the event today is in the double crisis. This is the threats from the climate change, or also the threats from the COVID-19 pandemic. And we are also facing the problem, the global problem. This is the marine plastic debris and environment pollutions. The consumption of the single-use plastic products have been increased, especially when the people use the plastic, the single-use plastic bag, and it's really very difficult to be disposed. So this is the double challenge. The double challenges for the entire world. And we also need to be aware of the increasing of the plastic debris to the oceans. And if we fail to control the plastic pollution, it can be very bad for impact on the habitat of the marine species and also to the environment, especially with the micro and the nano plastic particles. Vietnam is in the process of the industrialization and modernizations, and the industrial zone have been established very fast. For the period from 2010 to 2020, the plastic industries have the highest growth rate in Vietnam. And also the increase in the consumption of the plastic product per capita. And in Vietnam, we have about more than 2,000 plastic producers and more than 450 of those producing plastic bags. So in order to overcome the challenges of the plastic waste, so in his speech to the World Economic Forum in Davos in 2019, and also with the side events, the Monterey of Vietnam have been discussing with the World Economic Forum experts, and we are aware of the global challenges and also the challenges for Vietnam when it comes to the plastic pollutions. The signatures of the protocol at the World Economic Forum is really the great efforts made by the World Economic Forum and the Monterey of Vietnam. Today, Monterey of Vietnam, together with the World Economic Forum and with the support and also the efforts from the WWF, other international organizations and governments, and also from the business community, representatives from the local and international think tanks. As far as I know, there's about more than 50 online participants from more than 16 countries here at the launching ceremony of the NPAF of Vietnam. So today is a launching ceremony. However, in order to have this event, we have been working with the great efforts between Vietnam governments and the WEF and international partners and the local partners. We have been identifying the recycling alliances and also other societies. And in Vietnam, recently in November 2020, the National Assembly of Vietnam, that means the parliament, already passed the new environment protection law, where we managed to incorporate the circular economy and also the need to do the recycling and reuse of the resources, and also the priority given to the plastic waste control. And in order to implement, also to to contribute to the global efforts under the GPAF. We want to establish the NPAF, and it's really the very good starting point for Vietnam to promote the sustainable economic development, sustainable consumption, so that we can best control the plastic pollution and also to mitigate the negative impacts of the waste, including the plastic waste to the environment. And it is really the very strong commitment of the government of Vietnam to the global efforts. I'm very pleased when I can tell that the launching ceremony today have been prepared and organized by the Monre of Vietnam and also the WEF and the WWF, with the efforts and the contribution from international communities and local communities. The different stakeholders have been expressed their commitments in supporting Vietnam, especially supporting Vietnam in implementing the SDGs, including the reduction of waste flows in general, including the reduction and the end to plastic waste. Joining us today, we also have representatives from international and local financial institutions, from the experts communities, and especially today we have His Excellency Deputy Prime Minister Trịnh Đình Dũng representing the government of Vietnam. Also presenting the great efforts and commitment of the government of Vietnam. On this occasion, we would like to thank His Excellency Deputy Prime Minister Trịnh Đình Dũng, and also would like to thank the WEF and international organization and business community for your cooperation and partnerships so far. I especially would like to thank the World Economic Forum. I also would like to thank the international organization working on the nature conservation, such as the WWF, for your efforts and your cooperation, collaboration with us, especially when it comes to the policy review and policy development process, and also the scientific and technology studies, so that we can have a very good events and very good partnerships, the NPAF, as we are here talking about. We also would like to thank the members of the Alliance to End Plastic Waste, when Vietnam can be the members of how can we turn all of the efforts to the collective and global action, so that we can reduce plastic waste and also to have the spillover effect globally. So you know that the consequences of the plastic waste to the environment is very clear. So the challenges need to be overcome. It is necessary to change the mindset, also the behaviors, so that we can enhance the recycle and the reuse of the plastic products, and also to reduce the overexploitation of the natural resources, and also to reduce the plastic waste discharge to the environment. We really need to understand all of the functionalities of the plastic products, and also to be responsible and responsive to the environment. And we hope that at the launching ceremony today and after the launching ceremony today, we will be able to establish the kind of the multi-stakeholder platform and also the partnerships for everyone. And I hope that the World Economic Forum and Monre of Vietnam, and also the environmental protection institution and entities globally and locally, and also the public and the business community can join hands. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, I would like to be on behalf of the leaders of Monre of Vietnam. We'd like to thank His Excellency Deputy Prime Ministers and also representatives from ministries, government agencies and provinces, leaders of the international governments, international organizations, and special leaders of the World Economic Forums and the business and scientific communities for the efforts to join us today. And we would like to wish you great success and happiness, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year 2021. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister of Natural Resource Environment of Vietnam, Mr. Trần Hồng Hà, for your nice words. Ladies and gentlemen, this launching ceremony today will officially bring Vietnam as one of the three first countries in the world pioneering in the approach of changing our system to apply the plastic circular economy together with Indonesia and Ghana. To mark this important milestone, I'd like to invite His Excellency Deputy Deputy Prime Minister Trịnh Đình Dũng and all of you to come onto the stage for a photo session. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to arrange the photo session as follows. The first row will be the leader of the government, ministries and central agency. The second row will be the embassies, representative of the diplomatic organizations. And the third row will be the partners of NPAP as well as other people. So I'd like to invite you to move onto the stage for a group photo to mark this very important milestone. Thank you. So the first row is the leader of the government, ministries and agencies. Second row, leaders of the embassies, diplomatic organization. And third row, representative of the NPAP partner, international organizations and enterprises. Thank you. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, in this very important moment, Vietnam officially become one of the first 3 countries in the world pioneering the approach of the circular economy in terms of plastic use. We will have a group photo to mark this very important milestone. So please give a big applause to this very important milestone. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, we would like now to invite all of you to have a tea break for 15 minutes before we begin the next part, the conference on the National Plastic Action Partnership and mitigation of marine plastic pollution in Vietnam. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, the tea break's already up, so now we'd like to kindly ask you to come back to the room so that we can continue. The time is up, and now we'd like to kindly ask you to come back to the room so that we can resume. We'll resume in a couple minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, the time is up, and now would like to kindly ask you to come back to the room so that we can continue with the agenda of the conference. Danh sách của mấy đại sứ thì tốt nhỉ, nói cho nó chính xác. Tên trước đúng không? Tên phải hot, vì người nước ngoài người ta rất là quan trọng chuyện tên, nói cho đúng. Người Việt Nam thì quan trọng chức vụ. Pike, and now we are ready for the second part of the agenda of the ceremony today, the conference on the National Plastic Action Partnership and Mitigation of Marine Plastic Pollution in Vietnam. The leaders of the government and ministries of Vietnam, distinguished guests, we now would like to kindly ask Mr. Võ Tuấn Nhân, Vice Minister of Monterey, the chair of the conference today, will come up to have the opening remarks to the conference. Madam Christine Hirsch, the director of the GPAF under the WEF, His and Her Excellencies, ambassadors to Vietnam, the representative from international organizations, representative from local, central and local government agencies, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to be on behalf of the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment of Vietnam to welcome all of you to the conference on the NPAF of Vietnam and mitigation of the marine plastic debris in Vietnam. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, we have just listened to the directions by His Excellency Deputy Prime Minister Mr. Trịnh Đình Dũng, and also the remarks of Minister of Natural Resources and Environment, Dr. Trần Hồng Hà, showing the great commitment of the government of Vietnam to pave the way for the establishment and the operation of Vietnam National Plastic Action Partnerships. So the NPAP will become the very typical models for the management and also the better the control of the plastic pollution in Vietnam, making Vietnam the trailblazers in the regions and in the world in terms of the end to plastic waste. The NPAF, joining us with the NPAF today, we have the various representatives, and we also spend some time to listen to the scientists and the experts to share the findings of the research. And we also listen to the inputs from the leaders and also representatives from the international communities and business communities and experts from NIE sectors of Vietnam when they share experience and introducing the initiative, showing their commitment and contributions to the success of Vietnam National Plastic Action Partnerships, and also to kick off the projects on mitigating marine plastic debris in Vietnam. I do hope that from the conference today, Monterey of Vietnam, and as well as the Secretariat of the NPAF of Vietnam, will receive the very meaningful contribution and inputs from all of you. And especially, we hope that we receive your contributions for our consultation process for the development of the decree guiding the implementation of the new LEAF of Vietnam, that means the Law on Environmental Protections of Vietnam. That will be in effect in January 2021 with the new elements such as the enhancing the reuse, recyclable of the waste, and also to end the plastic waste in Vietnam. On behalf of Monterey, I would like to wish the leaders of the international governments, of the embassies, and representatives from the local and international organizations. We'd like to wish you very good health and a great success to the conference today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Võ Tuấn Nhân, for your opening speech for the second session. Ladies and gentlemen, to continue, I'd like to introduce and invite Mr. Nguyễn Văn Tài, Director General of Vietnam Environment Administration, VEA of Monterey of Vietnam, to introduce Vietnam's policy on plastic waste management and the collaboration with NPAP in the coming time. Thank you. Mr. Võ Tuấn Nhân, Vice Minister of Monterey, distinguished partners and distinguished guests of NPAP in Vietnam. The plastic waste is still a hot issue of the region and at the global level. Vietnam is one of the 4 Asian countries after China, Indonesia, and the Philippines, generating a lot of plastic waste. The plastic consumption in Vietnam increased in the coming time, leading to the fact that there is a lot of plastic debris in Vietnam in everyday life. The biggest problem at the moment is the use of the super thin, non-degradable nylon bags and single-use plastic products in rural and urban area. Nearly 70% of the solid waste are mixed with plastic waste. If it is not controlled, it will have a negative impact on the environment, on the life of people and ecology, hindering the water flow and affecting the environment of the ocean. Being aware of the importance of the plastic debris and nylon, non-degradable nylon bags, the Monterey and the different ministry and agencies have issued many policies and documents on mitigation of plastic waste and non-degradable nylon bags. The government also launched a movement receiving the strong support of localities and ministries and agencies. The law on environmental tax saying that nylon bag is one of the taxable products. It is 50,000 Vietnam dong per 1 kilo. The scheme on controlling environment pollution due to nylon bag to 2020, the National Strategy on Solid Waste Management to 2025 with the vision to 2050, the National Action Plan on Marine Plastic Waste Management to 2030, Directive on enhancing the management, reuse and recycling to mitigate the plastic waste, especially the law on environmental protection approved by the National Assembly of Vietnam in 2020, mentioned the handling of plastic waste in a practical way. Accordingly, the reduction policy for plastic waste in Vietnam aimed at reducing the business and production and use of single-use products and non-degradable nylon bags, segregation of waste at source to separate plastic waste, and also to enhance the replacement of single-use products with the more environmentally friendly products. These are the important objective. The shopping bags and supermarkets need to use environmentally friendly nylon bags instead of the non-degradable nylon bags to enhance the reuse and recycling of the plastic waste, and 100% of tourism facilities and areas, hotels and restaurants will not use the nylon bags and single-use products. Ladies and gentlemen, the reality shows that the movement on mitigating plastic waste in Vietnam have been well supported by the people. There are practical solutions and action to manage and reduce the use of plastic waste. Many sectors like trade and transport and agricultural sector have issued a directive for managing plastic waste within their authority. Cities and provinces of Vietnam also have a plan to reduce plastic waste and the single-use plastic product consumption and production to replace them with the environmentally friendly plastic bags. With the coordination and guidance of Monterey, the producers have formed the different alliance PPP on circular economy to reduce plastic waste in Vietnam. The movement of saying no to non-degradable nylon bags and single-use plastic products have become a highlight in environment protection. Enterprises and people and the whole political system have supported this trend, and we are aware that this movement have had encouraging results. Ladies and gentlemen, to implement efficiently the NPAP of Vietnam, in my opinion, we need to focus on the following things. First, the NPAP need to attract the participation of ministries, localities, enterprise community, scientists inside and outside the country, and international organizations to enhance the collaboration initiated by WEF. Second, the NPAP, together with Monterey, need to reserve resources to implement the regulations on reducing plastic waste in Vietnam to achieve the objective in plans, programs, and strategies. The highest priority is to developing the detailed regulation for recycling, reuse, and management of plastic waste, and specifies the responsibility of producers in environment protection in the law on environment protection approved by the National Assembly of Vietnam, enhance international collaboration to develop circular economy of Vietnam, promote technological transfer in plastic alternative products, and fourth, enhancing the communication, information, education activity to reduce plastic waste and to promote the advertising and promotion of Vietnam through different channels of communication, organizing events to join hands with the other countries in the movement against plastic waste at the global level. Once again, on behalf of the VEA, I'd like to wish all of you very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Very great success to our launching ceremony. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tai, for your introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, to continue with the agenda, we'd like to kindly invite to introduce Madame Christine Hughes, the Director of the GPAF under the WEF, to present on the topic of NPAP Vietnam and also the fundamental support Vietnam to reduce the plastic waste. Madame Christine Hughes, please.
Thank you again. And thank you so much, Mr. Nguyen, for that excellent overview of the government of Vietnam's priorities and strategic direction. Thank you once again to Your Excellencies, government and business leaders in the room today, as well as our friends and partners in international organizations, and especially our key local partner, WWF. We are again delighted to help advance action and progress on these important fronts. And I'm very much looking forward to working very closely with VEA and Monterey and all of you in the months and years ahead. Next slide, please. To build on the remarks that were just given, outlining the approach that Vietnam is looking to take, I also wanted to provide a bit of an initial look at how the Vietnam National Plastic Action Partnership will support and hopefully accelerate Vietnam's efforts to manage plastic waste and combat plastic pollution by serving as a convener and a connector both nationally and globally. Next slide, please. You might be asking how more than 80 different organizations can collaborate effectively on one platform and how we ensure that all of these partners come together. And you can understand that the way the NPAP is structured is that every single member will play an active role. So, for instance, some will serve on the leadership board, where they will set the strategic direction of the NPAP. They might also join the experts group and play a key role in shaping the knowledge or the action plans that we generate. And they'll also be working on recommendations of the action plan to serve the task forces that then will be designed to drive action in each of these very specific areas. In particular, we're looking at policy, behavior change, communication, and a number of other very critical areas that the government are also outlining so we can work together to support each other in these causes. It's also my pleasure to introduce you to some of the key people who will make this partnership possible. Though, of course, for most of you, they need no introduction. Minister Ha has already been incredibly instrumental in spearheading this partnership through Monterey, and we're looking forward to his collaboration and the insight, his chairmanship, and as a champion of the National Plastic Action Partnership. Next slide, please. I also want to offer a very special thank you to Dr. Van, the country director of WWF Vietnam, for your hospitality and for all the expertise and the resources that you have made available to us. We definitely know we could not have made the progress we have without your support and your leadership. Thank you. And of course, a huge thanks to our brilliant National Plastic Action Partnership Manager, Dr. Trinh Tai Ha, who has been working tirelessly over the past year to build the foundation of the National Plastic Action Partnership and bring leading partners in Vietnam to the table. Next slide, please. And finally, I also want to thank you, our partners, for contributing to the National Plastic Action Partnership in one or more of the 6 impact areas. I discussed this briefly a moment ago, but we believe that plastic pollution can be effectively addressed through a multi-pronged systems change approach. That's why the National Plastic Action Partnership will be creating 6 task forces in the areas of policy, financing, behavior change, innovation, metrics, and inclusivity. These task forces will operate in parallel, but they will also naturally intersect and cross-collaborate with one another. If one of these areas is of interest to you, please do let us know, and we will certainly look forward to working with you to progress in that important area. Next slide, please. Looking back, we have certainly come a long way since the letter of intent was first signed between Vietnam and the World Economic Forum January 2019, and even the ASEAN meeting that was held in Hanoi in 2018. And the world today certainly feels like a very different place. We face many challenges and a few setbacks, and at times we've struggled. But in the resilience of the people of Vietnam, we've seen momentum carry on and move forward such that this partnership and on Vietnam's commitment to advance the plastic action agenda continues to progress. In 2020, we established the NPAP Secretariat, developed a first draft of the Vietnam National Action Plan, convened the National Plastic Action Partnership Expert Group, and today we are officially launching the NPAP. I could not be more excited about what 2021 will potentially bring. With the support of the government of Vietnam, the business community, our experts group, and the World Economic Forum, I know we can achieve incredible things together. Next slide. So in my final words, I wanted to say thank you again to all the leaders in the room today, all of our partners. The conversation certainly does not end today. It does not stop this morning. We would really like to hear from you. We'd like to work with you, and we look forward to partnering with you to action this agenda even more so. Please do get in touch with us. The information is here on the screen. Send a quick email, and we look forward to working with you. Congratulations again. And as everyone's been saying, happy end of year celebration and all the best in 2021. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Christian Hughes.
Vâng. Ladies and gentlemen, to continue the agenda, I'd like to introduce and invite Mr. Tâm Nguyen on behalf of the experts of the WEF to make an online presentation on the National Plastic Action Partnership baseline overview and way forward for Vietnam and prioritize solutions. So it is your floor, Mr. Tâm Nguyen. Thank you.
I've unmuted myself. Is it okay now? All right, I'll start again. Thank you, everyone. It's an honor to be here today for the launch of the NPAP here in Vietnam, and to have the opportunity to present the highlights from the preliminary research on waste generation in Vietnam and the multi-stakeholder action roadmap. Thank you to and the other governments, partners, and the private sector here today. My name is Tâm Nguyen. I'm representing GA Circular, the consultancy commissioned by the World Economic Forum for the research under the NPAP. Allow me just to quickly introduce about our team and our work. We were founded in 2012. We specialize in economics and policy research of waste management and recycling. And of course, naturally, a lot of our work has been looking at in the prevention of marine plastic litter as well. We've worked in this region quite substantially, including in Vietnam over the years as well, on a number of projects and work. And many of the clients, as highlighted, as you can see below, across multilateral organizations like the World Economic Forum, the World Bank, including governments as well, governments of Singapore, and then many of the consumer brands that you, consumer and packaging brands as well. We envision a world without waste, and that a lot of that is through this transition towards a circular economy. And so with that, we were very excited to have the opportunity to work with the World Economic Forum on the National Plastics Action Partnership here in Vietnam. The National Plastic Action Partnership, I'll use the acronym NPAP. The NPAP Vietnam baseline development has really been nearly a year in the making now. We started off last November with a training workshop in Jakarta, Indonesia by the NPAP Indonesia Systemic team. And then from there, it was, we began a significant amount of research, data collection, interviews with various experts within Vietnam, outside of Vietnam. Myself and some of our team members were in Vietnam earlier this year from Ho Chi Minh City, traveling up, making our way up north to Hanoi as well, engaging with the various experts firsthand for the data collection, and then also engaging, having the opportunity to meet with representatives from Monterey, Basi, and BEA as well. That has led to, and then we moved on to data analysis and creation of the baseline and business as usual scenario. We then presented that to the first convening of the stakeholder workshop of the various distinguished experts, and then revised those findings based on the feedback, and then began development of the system change scenario that has been mentioned. From there, we then presented as well for another 2 stakeholder workshops as well with the various experts for a final round of revisions. We're currently finalizing the action roadmap, the multi-stakeholder action roadmap that has been mentioned. The NPAP methodology and analysis is adopted from the very comprehensive Breaking the Plastic Wave report developed by the Pew Charitable Trust and Systemic. First, it is a first of its kind model of the global plastics system. It's a very comprehensive evidence-based assessment and roadmap of pathways towards stopping ocean plastic pollution. It was co-developed with 17 renowned global experts. It has been published in peer-reviewed journal Science as well. Last year, the government of Vietnam had approved the National Action Plan for Management of Marine Plastic Litter by 2030. So with that said, for the purpose of the NPAP modeling, the projections in this report have followed this national plan to the year 2030 as well, including modeling a system change scenario on what it takes to achieve that 75% reduction target. I think it's evident today that there's been a lot of momentum. Momentum has been building. As Vietnam has made very strong public commitments to reduce plastic consumption and prevent plastic leakage. As we just saw on the previous slide with the National Action Plan that was announced. Just highlighting a few commitments below from left to right, we have the ratification of single-use plastics by 2025, the ban on plastic scrap imports by 2025, which would pose a lot of challenges, but also a lot of opportunities to grow the local plastics recycling value chain. And then, of course, leading by example, government offices have also been pioneers in the fight against single-use plastics. Many of the offices and events no longer use plastic bottles, and also some of the select offices, there's a segregation of waste as well. And of course, there's significant momentum with the launch of the NPAP in Vietnam today, which is a significant step forward to combat marine plastic pollution. As Kristen has mentioned, the launch of the NPAP and the soon-to-be launched action roadmap is to really guide the government and where to double down the current efforts that have already been underway or will be, and then where new interventions are really needed to support the goals in marine plastic reduction. I'll now take you through very high level the key figures from our NPAP research for the 2018 baseline year. All right, so this slide shows the data of Vietnam's plastic generated from municipal solid waste for our baseline year research of 2018. It's read from left to right. So from the top, our estimates for 2018 included with an average 0.76 kilograms per capita per day of municipal solid waste that is generated. And then of that, 14%, if you follow my cursor, 14% of that is plastics. And it ends up in two buckets, mismanaged plastics, and then on the right, managed plastics. Back to the left here, mismanaged plastics is really driven by the rural, as mentioned by the previous minister, in the rural areas of Vietnam, where there's a lack of, formal collection. And so therefore, where we see our estimates of 5% that ends up leaked into waterways, and then 20% that is in open burning, followed by that remains dumped on land at 7%, and then 2% that remains littered. Under the managed plastic waste, this is really driven by the urban areas of Vietnam, where there's much more resources, of course, and formal collection. And we can see a majority ends up in an estimated 35% that is in engineered landfills, and then 8% that remains in dump sites, incineration, and an estimate of 3% that remains in compost. And then that averages out for a national collective recycling rate of 11% for 2018. Okay, from there, we're able to develop our 2018 baseline, and also what it would look like if we stayed on the current trajectory, which we labeled as business as usual, maintain scenario. So first off, in 2018 baseline year, there was an estimated 3.7 million tons of plastic waste that is generated. And from there, 2.13 million tons of managed plastic waste, and then the remainder that ends up as mismanaged at 1.53 million tons in 2018. And again, looking at the current trajectory, we modeled and estimated in 2030 that would lead to 7.5 million tons of plastic waste that would be generated. Of that, 4.37 million tons of managed plastic, and then 3.15 million tons of mismanaged plastic. And if you look at the box on the far right, the red box here, that would be equivalent to an estimated plastic leakage into waterways would more than double. In 2018, it was an estimate of 182,000 tons per year, and then by 2030, 370,000 tons per year that would be leaked into waterways. From there, we were able to develop the two system change scenarios that are proposed in the action roadmap with much more detail. But here I do highlight just their estimated targets. The first, which would achieve a 43% reduction, and then the second would achieve a 75% reduction against plastic leakage from 2018 levels by 2030. The first red line there, which is the first box, was the previous business as usual maintain scenario that I had presented. If we were to stay on that trajectory, this maintain scenario would lead to an increase of 106% increase in plastic leakage against the 2018 levels. And then the light blue line there would be the realistic system change scenario. This scenario is capable of achieving a 43% reduction in plastic leakage. It is considered the more conservative estimate, but even then it would require significant action, collaboration amongst the stakeholders from the private and public sector. It will require many of the interventions that are proposed in the action roadmap to happen concurrently as well. And finally, we also modeled to the 75% reduction target as set in the National Action Plan for Management of Marine Plastic Litter by 2030. And under this scenario, we would be capable of achieving the government target of 75% reduction, but it would require even much more aggressive timeline to achieve that, and even much more resources and collaboration from the public and private sector. As mentioned, the two system change scenarios go in much more detail in the comprehensive multi-stakeholder action roadmap that has been developed to really guide, again, the government and the Vietnam impact leadership with an actionable way forward. In there, we also highlight all of the key interventions needed and also by which stakeholder that needs to act upon these interventions as well. And that will be soon to be published by World Economic Forum. I will now take you just high level through 5 of the key interventions from the action roadmap report now, and that will finish the presentation. First, reduce and substitute plastics consumption and production to achieve a 26% decrease by the year 2030. That would be equivalent to 2.61 million tons. Second, redesigning plastic products and packaging, making recycling economically viable through EPR tools, which could be modulated fees, recycled content targets. We know there's already a lot of discussion and progress around this area already. Third, increasing municipal solid waste collection coverage to 100% and 90% in urban and rural areas by 2030. Fourth, more than double mechanical recycling capacity to nearly 1.8 million tons by 2030. And finally, 5, build an additional 170 million tons of engineered landfill capacity, and then phasing out leakage of plastics from engineered landfills by 2023 and stopping waste disposal to dump sites by 2028. And with that, that ends my presentation. Thank you.
Vâng, xin cảm ơn những đề xuất và
Thank you very much for the presentation of the findings and also the recommended solutions by the Nguyen and the consultants team. And now we would like to ask Mr. Jacob, the CEO of the Alliance to End Plastic Waste, to have the presentation, virtual presentation, on the example of the initiative to be scaled on the Vietnam and platform.
Some problems are bigger than others, some challenges tougher, and sometimes these tasks can become intimidating. We are staring down on the world's biggest problems. Every year, an estimated $120 billion worth of plastic is lost to the economy after a short first use, with only an estimated 14% plastic packaging collected for recycling. Most ends up in landfills, dumps, or regrettably, the environment. Around the world, 3 billion people lack basic waste management services, a number that grows every day. And that challenge gets more complex, because although it's a global problem, it requires local solutions, tailored to unique demands of each region. For some, where we are just beginning, it's just about slowing plastic waste leakage. But for other regions, it's about elevating up the waste hierarchy with our innovations and our partnerships. Which is why we intend to work with our partners from all over the world to positively impact more than 100 million people across more than 100 at-risk cities. Our members among us, technical leaders, engineers, scientists, and more, span from one end of the plastic value chain to the other. Our target's to invest $1.5 billion over 5 years towards this mission. Most importantly, we have a clear purpose and a sustainable plan. We are the Alliance to End Plastic Waste.
Your Excellency, Mr. Tay Minh Son, Deputy Prime Minister of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam. Your Excellency, Dr. Jan Hong Ha, Minister of Natural Resources and Environment. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to all of you. It is a great honor to join you virtually today from Singapore to represent the Alliance to End Plastic Waste at the launch ceremony of the National Plastic Action Partnership in Vietnam. Addressing the global plastic waste challenge calls for swift action and strong leadership. Each year, 11 million tons of plastic waste enters the environment. And if we do nothing, that number will rise to 29 million tons by 2040. This is not only impacting the environment, but also has a dire impact on the lives of people in communities with limited or no waste management systems. And this, as a challenge, requires local action. Launching the National Plastic Action Partnership in Vietnam during the country's chairmanship of ASEAN in 2020 sends a powerful message on the importance of national and regional leadership to address the plastic waste challenge. We at the Alliance fully support the goals of the National Plastic Action Partnership model to accelerate action and to catalyze investment to address plastic pollution. As you heard in the introductory video, the Alliance plans over 5 years to divert and recycle millions of tons of plastic waste in more than 100 cities, impacting over 100 million people through a portfolio of projects across the globe. Supporting action in Vietnam is an instrumental part of delivering on this mission. The Alliance is currently partnering with the Yunus Environment Hub in the Mekong River Delta in South Vietnam. And through this collaboration, we are creating new markets and business models for plastic waste that currently has no value in the Lang An province. We help enhance and support and supplement municipal waste collection and repurpose collected waste to prevent it from flowing into the ocean. This demonstration project will directly improve the lives of hundreds of waste pickers. It will generate jobs and prove that waste collection and recycling can be a viable social enterprise model suitable for replication and scale. The Alliance will work with partners like USAID, UN Habitat or CDIA, as well as with our member companies like the CM Cement Group and Suez. We will provide technical assistance to cities throughout Vietnam. This support will accelerate project identification and prepare investment-ready proposals targeting our 4 strategic pillars: infrastructure, innovation, education and engagement, and cleanup. To realize our vision of ending plastic waste in the environment, the Alliance cannot operate alone. Therefore, we are cooperating with partners from governments and industry to civil society on this mission. We welcome the opportunity to collaborate with these key stakeholders through the platform provided by the National Plastic Action Partnership in Vietnam. We are particularly interested in accelerating our collective action on catalyzing strategic investments. The Alliance stands ready to join others to co-finance opportunities to address plastic waste in Vietnam, opportunities that can accelerate progress towards the government's target of reducing marine plastic waste by 75% by 2030. Only through coordinated effort can real impact be made. Congratulations on this very important milestone. We wish the National Plastic Action Partnership in Vietnam every success. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the proposal of the WWF Vietnam, on the 2nd of July 2020, the Minister of Monterey signed the decision 1462 of Monterey approving the project document on reducing plastic waste, marine plastic waste in Vietnam. So please look at our screen to look at the video clip introducing this project in Vietnam. Thank you. With the booming of population, rapid urbanization, and increased use of plastic as well as effective management leading to plastic pollution, it is a global crisis. According to United Nations Environmental Program, it is estimated that the world consumes around 5,000 billion plastic bags a year. Amount of plastic waste produced is enough to cover 4 times of the surface of the Earth, which is negatively affecting the ecosystem, people, and sustainable development. Addressing ocean plastic waste is part of UN 2030 agenda. Plastic pollution has become the main topic of discussion in many international conferences and forums, such as the Ocean World Summit in 2018 in Norway in 2019, the 6th Assembly of the GEF in 2018 in Da Nang, the Global Online Conference chaired by EU in September 2020. Plastic pollution is seen as the biggest environmental challenge. In the G7 outreach in Canada in June 2018, Prime Minister established a global mechanism with the joining hand of many countries for an ever blue ocean full of fish without plastic waste as the good heritage for future generations. Minister of Monterey Chen Hong Ha in the WEF 2018 emphasized the needs and positioned circular economy as one of the important solutions to tackle marine plastic waste problem. Located in a densely populated area, rapidly growing area with increasing plastic consumption with improper waste management. Vietnam is one of the hotspots for marine plastic debris pollution, having negative risks towards biodiversity. Although there are different methodology, there are many who believe Vietnam is among the groups of countries that discharge the majority of plastic waste to the ocean. It is time to tackle against this plastic waste for Vietnam, which is green and beautiful. Resolution 36 on the 22nd October 2018 of the 8th Congress on the Strategy of Sustainable Development of Vietnam Marine Economy to 2030 with vision to 2045 set the objective to prevent, control, and significantly reduce marine pollution. Pioneering in the region on reducing plastic debris. On the June 2019, speaking at the launching ceremony of the nationwide for plastic waste management, the Prime Minister affirmed that plastic waste is not only a national issue, it is also a global issue together with climate change. On 22nd of June 2019, in the ASEAN Summit number 34, Vietnam joined the Bangkok Declaration on combating plastic debris in Southeast Asia, committing increasing efforts to reduce plastic waste crisis. To integrate with the global community and enhance the waste pollution management, the government proposed a specific law in the Law on Environment Protection amended, which was officially passed by the National Assembly on the 7th of November 2020. On the 4th of December 2019, Prime Minister signed the decision issuing the National Action Plan for Ocean Plastic Waste Management by 2020 and Directive 33 in 2020, strengthening the management, reuse, recycling, and treatment and reduction of plastic wastes. On the 7th November 2019, Monterey of Vietnam and WWF Vietnam signed a strategic MOU on environmental protection, reserving biodiversity with sustainable use of natural resources and promotion of circular economy. The Mitigating Marine Plastic Debris in Vietnam project, sponsored by WWF, is approved by the decision 1426 in 2020 of Monterey Minister. As an agency with the function to help the Minister of NRE to protect the marine and island environment. Vietnam administration of Sea and Island is a project owner and will be leading and coordinating with WWF and the agencies and partners at both national and local level to implement the project. It initially set up the information on marine plastic debris, conduct activity to support formulation of policy, monitoring, as well as activity in provinces of the project. This is the first national-scale international cooperation project in general to implement in collaboration between ministry, localities, and international partners. The project is expected to contribute to reducing marine plastic debris pollution in Vietnam and in the region. through the development of technical guidelines to support the implementation of action plan and policy on solid waste and plastic waste management, communication activity, capacity building, awareness raising, and behavioral change activities relating to plastic waste consumption, building, reducing plastic waste, and pilot model in 7 cities and districts, including A Lưới district, Đà Nẵng City, Đồng Hới City in Quảng Bình, Hà Tĩnh, Long An, Rạch Giá City in Kiên Giang province, Tuy Hòa City in Phú Yên, based on WWF Plastic Smart City program with the goal of becoming model city of Vietnam and the world, to be selected as 1,000 plastic smart cities in the world to reduce and eliminate the plastic waste in 3 protected areas, Côn Đảo, Cù Lao Chàm, and Phú Quốc Marine Protected Area. Besides, the project also aims at the following main goals: 100 school deploying activities, plastic pollution, creating 2 policy brief recommendations in the normal legal normative document, conducting training on garbage segregation at source for 5,000 households in 3 marine protected areas.
Ladies and gentlemen, to continue with agenda, we'd like to kindly ask the representative of the donors to the projects on mitigating marine plastic debris in Vietnam, the director of the WWF Germany, by Mr. Christoph Hendrik, please.
Distinguished representatives of the government of Vietnam, distinguished representatives of national and international cooperation organizations and NGOs, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm good morning from winterly Germany. I am Christoph Heinrich, the Chief Conservation Officer of WWF Germany. A few years ago, I had the chance to visit your country, and I have fond memories of the beautiful nature of Vietnam, its friendly people, and its delicious food. Unfortunately, this time, I cannot attend your important meeting due to travel restrictions caused by COVID-19. Thus, please accept my congratulations via this video on the strong move Vietnam has shown regarding mitigation marine plastic pollution. Just a few weeks ago, Deputy Minister of Ministry of Natural Resources explicitly and publicly raised Vietnam's support for a new global agreement in his speech at the Sea Solutions Conference 2020. As chair of ASEAN, Vietnam has shown strong support for the broader Southeast Asia region in developing and implementing meaningful policies to address plastic waste and pollution. Under the National Action Plan on Marine Plastic Debris Management, Vietnam has pledged to reduce the flow of plastics into the ocean by 75% by 2030. Of course, the challenges are still enormous, since Vietnam generates around 3.7 million tons of plastic waste each year, of which only a fraction is currently collected for recycling. WWF Germany has a strong and long cooperation with Vietnam for over 15 years. Many successful projects were implemented jointly with WWF Vietnam and our local partners. We are also very proud to see that the project Mitigating Marine Plastic Debris in Vietnam is jointly funded by WWF and the German Ministry for Environment, has shown remarkable first results in first month of implementation. One of these results is that the plastic segregation at source in Tan An is already upscaled by the local government. Another achievement is to enable production of high-quality compost that provides strong incentive for improved waste collection. And thirdly, a very successful workshop just last week on architecture of expanded producer responsibility for plastic packaging. WWF Germany is very committed to assist Vietnam in combating plastic pollution and conserve Vietnam's unique biodiversity. Here we say to do things right is not always sufficient. We have to do the right things. In this spirit, we are all well positioned and confident that together with our partners in Vietnam, there is a high chance that negative impacts from plastic waste on ecosystems and human health can be mitigated. On this journey, let us work even more closely together and unify our efforts. I thank you very much for your attention, and I wish you a successful conference.
To continue, I would like to introduce Mr. Van Ngọc Thịnh, Director of WWF Vietnam, to be on behalf of the NPAP donors and the project on reducing marine plastic waste in Vietnam. Mr. Van Ngọc Thịnh, it is your floor. Thank you. Mr. Võ Tuấn Nhân, Vice Minister of Monterey, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. We are at the very end days of the 2020, a very complicated year due to COVID-19 pandemic. It is also the starting year for the decade identified by UN as the decade for recovery of the ecological system. Vietnam is facing important challenges on biodiversity. Our planet is facing the sixth extension after the dinosaur extension. It is the very first one created by human being. Within over the past 50 years, we have lost 60% of the population of the animal with spines or backbone, and we increased 1 degree Celsius compared with the industrial era, and we are calling for saving our planet, and it is lucky that we can see the commitment, important commitments of the government of Vietnam over the past time. Firstly, it is a commitment of the Prime Minister on biodiversity in the General Assembly session number 74, organized in 2019, and then the directive number 29 of the Prime Minister on the emergency measure to protect the wildlife. In September this year, 2020, in the summit on biodiversity within the 75 General Assembly meeting session, we also listened to Monterey Minister Trần Hồng Hà to be on behalf of the government of Vietnam to come up with the commitment to call for other countries and stakeholders and raise the commitment of Vietnam to reverse the biodiversity loss, which is happening all over the world in terms of the size and in terms of the speed. It has never happened before. Vietnam also approved the National Action Plan on the marine plastic waste to 2030. And at the moment, we are focusing on our strategy on biodiversity 2020-2030, and we are actively preparing for the draft of the global biodiversity framework after 2020 to be submitted to COP15. That will be to take place in 2021. And today we can witness the very important commitment of the government of Vietnam, the decision contributing a lot to protecting biodiversity, that is approval of the NPAP, the platform for many stakeholders in collaboration with the WEF to implement the National Action Plan with specific concrete results. Ladies and gentlemen, as one of the nature reserve organization in the world with the environment pollution and plastic pollution, we set the target of having no plastic waste by 2030. WWF in Vietnam have implemented many projects in order to achieve this objective. Specifically, WWF is funding to collaborate with the Monterey of Vietnam to implement the project on reducing the ocean plastic waste in 9 cities and provinces all over the country. Together with the WEF, With the support of the NPAP, we are committed to accompany Vietnam in the coming time in developing the green economic circular economy model towards sustainable development with the different solutions and measures and interventions in terms of policy and strategy. We are committed to the following things. First, continue to support Vietnam to participate in developing and negotiating a global agreement initiated by GEF to bring the collaboration, international support methodologies in terms of information, finance, and technical issues to deal with marine plastic waste, to create the prerequisite for forming a framework for responsibility to deal with the pollution at the global level. Second, WWF will actively collaborate with MONRE of Vietnam and the different stakeholders to promote the formation and operation of the ERP so that we can support enterprises to push up the collection and recycling of plastic packages to reduce the released plastic waste into the environment. Thirdly, developing the investment model into the ecological system and waste treatment at the local level, and help the local government to set up their management plan to prevent the plastic waste into the environment through the initiative of cities with reduction of plastic waste. And fourthly, we will continue to actively mobilize the donors and international resources to implement programs and projects to reduce plastic waste in Vietnam, to support the National Action Plan on managing ocean plastic waste to 2030. And more than over, we will continue to be the active member in the network of the national partners on plastic to give a support for policy formation and to form PPP project to reduce the plastic waste. We hope that the ceremony today will mark the beginning of the collaboration of all the stakeholders in plastic waste management, especially to reduce its impact on the marine ecological system and to take advantage of opportunities for sustainable development. Finally, I would like to express our sincere thanks to MONRE of Vietnam, to the WEF for collaborating with WWF in organizing this ceremony. Thank you very much. On the occasion of the New Year, I would like to wish all of you the best wishes, happiness, and prosperity. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Van Ngọc Thịnh, for your very warm remarks. And next, we would like to kindly ask the Madame de Brabant, the Canadian ambassador to Vietnam.
It is an honor to be here this morning and to speak to you on behalf of the Government of Canada at this launching conference of Vietnam's National Plastic Action Partnership, or NPAP. I would like to congratulate the Government of Vietnam and World Economic Forum and other international and national partners on this important milestone. Canada is proud to be a founding member of the Global Plastic Action Partnership and is investing $6 million to support the implementation of NPAPs, including in Indonesia, Ghana, and Vietnam. Canada recognizes that marine plastic litter is a global problem that requires urgent attention and is committed to taking ambitious action to tackle this issue. The COVID-19 pandemic has caused governments around the world to look at ways to build back better and generate a sustainable, environmentally conscious economic recovery. Through better design and use of our resources, a circular economy approach can help us to reduce waste and mitigate emissions, while at the same time increasing economic and business opportunities and encouraging innovation across economic sectors. Canada is committed to supporting Vietnam in combating plastic pollution. In 2018, Canada mobilized the diplomatic community to endorse the Code of Conduct on combating plastic pollution. Canadian expertise has helped develop Vietnam's National Action Plan on marine litter and provided input into the design of a database for marine debris. We have explored the gender dimensions of plastics value chains in Vietnam in order to ensure that these perspectives are represented in policies and programs. Vietnam's efforts to curb plastic waste are well aligned with the Ocean Plastics Charter launched by Canada during our G7 chairmanship in 2018. The Charter takes a comprehensive life cycle approach to prevent marine plastic pollution and lays the groundwork to ensure that plastics are designed for reuse and recycling in order to protect the environment and to keep a valuable resource in the economy. Canada is encouraged by Vietnam and international partners who agree with the circular economy vision that we are advancing through the Ocean Plastics Charter. As part of our commitments, Canada is investing $100 million to help developing countries tackle plastic pollution. We pay particular attention to addressing inequalities and vulnerabilities across the entire plastics management life cycle, especially concerning women and girls and marginalized groups who are disproportionately affected by plastic pollution. Canada would welcome Vietnam's endorsement of the Charter as part of its efforts to combat plastic pollution, which is well aligned with Vietnam's own ambitions. I'm pleased that there are so many different stakeholders at this event today, which demonstrates a strong commitment to reducing plastic waste in Vietnam. Canada looks forward to continuing to work with all of you to combat plastic pollution in Vietnam and to make the NPAP an effective platform for both dialogue and especially for concrete action. Thank you very much. Merci. Xin cảm ơn.
Xin cảm ơn bà Deborah Paul. Ladies and gentlemen, to continue, I'd like to introduce Mr. Marcus Winsley, the Deputy Ambassador of the UK in Vietnam. So it is your floor.
Winsley here on stage to give some speech.
Xin chào, thank you very much. Ministers, partners, friends, colleagues from diplomatic missions, international organizations, expert bodies such as WEF, WWF, and of course from the private sector, including British companies such as Unilever. The British government is delighted to have been invited to today's launch event of the Vietnam National Plastic Action Partnership. The UK is a strong supporter of the Global Plastic Action Partnership and has invested nearly $4 million of British aid in this since 2018. So it gives me great pleasure to be here to endorse the NPAP in Vietnam and its ambition to accelerate action to tackle plastic waste within this country. The British and Vietnamese governments are forging a strong partnership. The British Foreign Secretary has visited Hanoi in September, and the UK Secretary of State for International Trade also visited at the end of November. Both have used their meetings here to underline the British government's commitment to a tight and effective partnership with Vietnam for environmental protection. It's this bilateral partnership that gives us a strong framework to look ahead to 2021. The UK will host the UN Climate Conference, COP26, in Glasgow in November. The agenda for COP26 includes the promotion of nature-based solutions. One of the major issues the world faces is plastic pollution. As humans, we are polluting the ocean with some 12.7 million tons of plastic a year. We need to see action at all levels, from government to industry, academia, and individuals in the community, to stop the scourge of plastic from entering into our precious maritime environment. It's for this reason that we are pleased to support the launch of Vietnam's NPAP and the establishment of the NPAP Leadership Board. The Leadership Board will play a vital role in ensuring effective implementation of the key activities under the NPAP. The Leadership Board has already made its mark through its efforts to set up today's impressive and important launch. The UK will stand by our partners and Vietnam. We welcome the opportunity to support the government and other local leaders to develop a dynamic and cross-sectoral mechanism for accelerating plastic action at the regional, national, and subnational levels. And we hope to support NPAP development as an inclusive and impartial national platform for convening multi-stakeholder action on plastic pollution and waste. This includes facilitating the sharing of knowledge, best practice, and design of a national action roadmap endorsed by the leading plastic action policymakers and experts in Vietnam. We support the launch of the task forces dedicated to advancing progress. These task forces are rightly focused on a wide range of disciplines: policy, metrics, innovation, financing, amongst others. And the UK is particularly pleased to see the priority given to cross-cutting issues such as inclusion and the development of a gender-responsive approach throughout the development of the task forces and at different parts of the plastic value chain. The UK stands ready to lend its support to building momentum behind these actions and for putting in place key legislation and policies. Ladies and gentlemen, 2020 will undoubtedly be remembered for COVID-19, but it has also been a year to bring into sharper focus the challenges and opportunities for us to reset our relationship with our planet. Taking ambitious steps to address plastic pollution is a key component of green recovery. There can be no doubt that it is necessary to secure a better planet for future generations. So for this reason, it is in all of our interests to work together to make Vietnam's NPAP a success. Many thanks, Xin Cảm ơn.
Vâng ạ, xin cảm ơn ông ạ. Ladies and gentlemen, now I would like to kindly introduce Mr. Nguyễn Việt Quang, the CEO of the Vingroup and the founding members of the NPAP of Vietnam to come up to have some remarks. Mr. Nguyễn Việt Quang, please. Mr. Võ Thuận Nhân, the Vice Minister, Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment, Madam Christine Hughes, the Director of the GPAP under the WEF, Mr. John Gregory, the Director of the Asia-Pacific Agenda of the WEF, the leaders of the government agencies, representative of the different embassies, and representative of the international organization, NGOs, ladies and gentlemen, the representative from the media. First of all, I would like to be on behalf of the Vingroup Vietnam. We would like to thank you very much for joining us with the launching ceremony of the NPAP and also the mitigating marine plastic debris in Vietnam projects. Today, the Vingroup is very honored to be the founding members of the NPAP Vietnam. And we are aiming at reducing the plastic pollution and also to support the sustainable marine economic development of Vietnam, being the group of the private sectors who are working in 3 pillars: industry, technologies, and trade and commerce. And the Vingroup are very much aware of the global threats of the plastic waste. We have been very proactive in implementing the different initiatives for the greener future. For example, when we have the Vinpol at the Vinpon, we developed the Go Green projects to try to reduce the consumption of the single-use plastic bag. And we managed to reduce 1.4 plastic waste per month. And the VinSmart already implement the movement of say no to plastic waste, and also to have the greener part in our production and business cycle by promoting the environmentally friendly bags to replace the plastic bag. And we we also have the doctorate when we apply the AI in the medical service provision, and this is already implemented in the 15 big hospitals in Vietnam. And the Vingroup also ready to support the local enterprises and international organizations when it comes to environmental protection and the marine environment protection activities. Ladies and gentlemen, the Vingroup have been asked to join the NPOP of Vietnam, and we very pleased to be the founding members of the NPOP, because you can tell that the NPOP missions really very much in line with our mission, and we will continue to call for the joint efforts from the business community of Vietnam. We hope that we can have the opportunity to share our experience with them, and also to work with them to overcome the challenges for ensuring the greener production and consumptions. We strongly believe that the NPOP of Vietnam is not only the starting point, but it can serve as a very strong locomotive for sustainable development of Vietnam. Being the founding members and the strategic partners to the NPOP, we very much honored to be as a partners with you for the greener and more beautiful Vietnam and for the world with no plastic waste. On behalf of the Vingroup, I'd like to wish you, the distinguished guests, very good health, great success in your career, and would like to wish a great success to the NPOP of Vietnam. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nguyễn Việt Quang, and the support of Vingroup in this campaign. Ladies and gentlemen, to continue, I'd like to introduce Madame Caroline Turk, Country Director of the World Bank Group in Vietnam. So it is your floor. Thank you.
Mrs. Caroline Turk to give some speech.
Good morning, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is my sincere pleasure. It is my sincere pleasure to enjoy this, to join this important meeting, and to give the World Bank support to this agenda, which is a priority now for us. I'm delighted to be here for two reasons. First, because it is part of the World Bank's twin goals of eliminating extreme poverty and boosting shared prosperities to ensure that marine plastic is aligned properly with our activities here. But it is also a pleasure from a personal perspective. I first visited Vietnam's beaches and first swam in Vietnam's seas in 1990. And I was deeply impressed by the pristine nature of the beaches at that time. All of my children were born in Vietnam, and they grew up learning to swim in the seas of Vietnam and building sandcastles on the beaches of Vietnam. And being here today gives me hope that by the time my children have their children and they bring their children to Vietnam, maybe the beaches and the seas will once again be free of marine plastics. So I'm delighted to be here today to help launch this initiative. A healthy ocean is essential for the billions of people who rely on it for their livelihoods and food. That reliance is even greater since COVID-19 has caused suffering worldwide. The pandemic has also resulted in a surge in several single-use plastics, adding risks of health hazards and putting even more pressure on the disposal of plastic waste. That is why it's so important to support countries in their recovery as they prepare policies that strengthen solid waste management and encourage a more circular economy with less waste being produced. Governments and institutions such as the World Bank cannot do it all on their own. It requires collaboration with partners, including the private sector. And I'm very happy to be here with Ving Group as well. The private sector has a key role as we try to make our societies greener, cleaner, and in this instance, bluer. That is why partnerships such as the GPAP are so important. Only by working together on financing, on innovative technologies, and on policy reforms will we see rapid progress and create a world that is greener, cleaner, bluer, and more inclusive. One that is free of plastic waste pollution for generations to come. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure that Vietnam has joined the Global Partnership for Action Against Plastics, and the World Bank Group is happy to bring to the partnership its convening power, its significant lending resources to governments and the private sector, and the World Bank's analytical and advisory capabilities. We have long-run experience with investments, in particular in waste management, and look forward to supporting the government of Vietnam in this space. We are working with the G7, G20, ASEAN countries, among others, to bring marine plastic pollution to the forefront of global, regional, and local stages. The World Bank Group has established the Pro-Blue platform, which is an umbrella multi-donor trust fund partnership that supports integrated and sustainable economic development in healthy oceans. Launched in the autumn of 2018, Pro-Blue's pledges and commitments amount to more than $150 million. Vietnam's strong interest and dedication in reducing marine plastic pollution encouraged our cross-sectoral and joint World Bank IFC team to mobilize Pro-Blue funds to support Vietnam in its efforts of addressing plastic waste pollution. Our program is supporting the country to build capacity for evidence-based policy making, increase public investments, and creating the enabling environment for mobilizing private sector investments, improving solid waste management, and promoting circular economy principles in Vietnam. In addition, through the World Bank's planned Sustainable Fisheries Development Project, we will support Vietnam to minimize plastic use and effectively dispose of plastic fishing gear. It is clear that a big part of the challenge in addressing the plastics issue, that there are many different players and distinct motivations and perspectives, and we all have to come together to do our part to create solutions. This will include plastic producers needing to develop products that can be recycled with simpler technologies. It involves the public sector creating the right conditions through policy regulations, fiscal instruments, material standards, and educational campaigns to reduce the production and consumption of the most urgent single-use plastics. It will involve plastic users to recognize the need to switch to reusable materials and waste reduction solutions, notably for single-use plastics. And it will require both public and private investment to increase financing of sustainable waste management systems and facilities. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we're delighted to take part in the national program against plastics in Vietnam, and we aim to bring these actors together in taking their part to solve the plastic pollution challenge. Let me conclude by saying that the World Bank Group fully supports this goal and is very, very proud to be part of this NPAP. Thank you very much, and a Happy New Year to everybody here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Madam Catherine Tak. And now we would like to kindly ask Mr. Pham Tuấn Hùng, the Director General of the Legal Affairs Department of Monterey, to come up to introduce to us the PPP initiatives who have been involved in the Circular Economy Initiative. for plastic waste. Mr. Tuấn Hùng, please. Vice Minister Võ Tuấn Nhân of Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to be on behalf of the technical working groups of the MONRE to present to you the initiative for the PPP on establishing the circular economy for plastic waste in Vietnam. Minister Trần Hồng Hà already mentioned in his welcoming remarks. In Vietnam, we have the various initiatives for fulfilling our commitment to the world, and to reduce the plastic waste in Vietnam. We have been implementing a good number of initiatives. In my presentation, there are two contents. First, I will give the background to the initiative on the PPP, and also then I will talk about the achievements in 2020. Yeah, due to the time constraints, so I would like to be very brief in my presentation. So this is what we call the public-private collaboration, PPC, and it is one of the different initiatives that we implemented. And now here and there, we have these different initiatives implemented and have not been connected. And in February 2020, we worked with the Unilever and other partners to sign the MOU for the establishment of the public-private collaboration towards a circular economy in plastic waste management. So I think that the collaboration, that means the PPC, is the key to the success. And for this model, and how can we make sure that the government can achieve the objectives of reducing plastic waste? You know that the PPC is based on 4 pillars. The first one is the waste collection and segregation infrastructures. The second one, innovation and technologies for the recycling. And the third pillar is the policy and law development through the dialogue platform, and also through promoting the EPR, and also to raise awareness through communication and education. So this is really the education communication is really the 4th pillar of the PPC strategy. And now we are calling for the collaboration of the different stakeholders in the PPC model. And this is the 2020 in review. PPC was launched in February 2020 for the establishment of the circular economy for plastic waste in Vietnam based on 4 pillars that we have already mentioned. Yeah. So this is the 4 pillars. And since the establishment, the PPC have been doing the very meaningful activities contributing to the 4 pillars. This is the first one is when Unilever has worked with the Urenco to implement the segregation of waste at the source. And also we're doing the activities in the school setting and guiding the pupil to do the waste collection and segregation. And the second work stream is for the innovation and technologies. And here, this is some of the example of the some of the innovation and technologies in some manufacturing facilities. And yes, this is for the development of the new eco-friendly and recyclable products. Unilever has pioneered in using the environmentally friendly packaging materials. And the third work stream is for promoting the law development and advocacy. In November 2020, the National Assembly already passed a law on environment protection, specifying environment protection targets and introducing the new approach to sustainable development, such as economic instrument for environment protection, circular economy, and others. The PPC will continue to work with Monterey during the development of the regulation to support a circular economy in Vietnam. The first work stream is for education and communication. We encourage people to do the sorting of waste as a source and a sharing initiative and model in terms of sorting, collecting, and recycling of the plastic waste. And we work with the schools and also to support Monterey in developing the draft of the law and then to the guiding decrees for the implementation of circular economy for plastic waste. Yeah. So here we named the different figures, and we also named some of the activities here, and some quotes, some representative from different organizations. Yeah, so this is the quotes from Mr. Võ Tuấn Nhân, Vice Minister of Monterey of Vietnam, mentioning the different challenges and the targets that we have. And the 2020 really comes to the end, and the PPC have already paved the very first fundament to the greater, greener, and more beautiful Vietnam. And we really need the joint efforts from different stakeholders, following the waste segregation as a source, and also doing the recycling of the plastic waste. And being together, we can have the green and clean and beautiful planet for our future generations. So this is the end of my presentation introducing the PPC initiatives. And as we said that if we want to go further, we really need to go together. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, to end our program today, I'd like to introduce Mr. Võ Tuấn Nhân, Vice Minister of Monterey of Vietnam, to make a closing speech to our launching ceremony. Thank you. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, today, with the very short time, within one morning, the participants have listened to different presentations and speeches offline here in this room, presented by Monterey and the representative of WEF, World Bank, WWF Vietnam, the UK Embassy, Canadian Embassy in Vietnam, Vingroup, as well as online presentation by Madame Christine Hughes, the director of GPOP, and the other presentation by individuals and organizations. The participants include the online and offline participants. We share the similar purpose, the similar concern at the global level, that is to develop and to strengthen the relationship, connecting the different actors in the public and private sector to share experiences and knowledge on the management of plastic waste. Ladies and gentlemen, the success of the launching ceremony of the NPAP and the Mitigating Marine Plastic Debris in Vietnam project is the opening of a new page, which is highly important in a very hard journey to fight against plastic waste with the participation of many partners inside and outside the country. So after the conference today, I would like to require the Secretariat of the NPOP to collaborate with VEA of Vietnam to promote and to create favorable conditions for different stakeholders to be involved and to form a special platform to promote investment and mobilization of resources to implement the potential solutions to mitigate marine plastic waste. We assign VEA to be the focal agency to continue to implement content of the letter of intent and to complete the draft action plan of the NPOP within 2021. Review and improve the preliminary report on the release of plastic waste in Vietnam and the report to propose an action plan to reduce plastic waste in Vietnam, to propose the plan to support the implementation of circular economy to reduce the plastic pollution in Vietnam. Assign the VASI of Vietnam to be the focal agency to continue to collaborate with international organizations, WWF, donors, and other partners to implement the mitigating marine plastic debris in Vietnam project, to create opportunities for experts, managers of Vietnam and international community to meet, to exchange experiences in enhancing management of plastic waste, giving priority to developing the detailed regulation on mitigating plastic waste, enhancing the recycle and reuse and collection of plastic waste, and the EPR in plastic production in the Law on Environment Protection of Vietnam 2020. I strongly believe that the NPOP and the project mitigating marine plastic debris in Vietnam will be a success and will become a typical model affirming the international commitments of Vietnam in the international and regional integration, contributing to enhancing the position image of Vietnam at the regional and global level. Ladies and gentlemen, on this occasion, I would like to express our sincere thanks to the government, to the Prime Minister, to the WEF, to the WWF of Vietnam, strategic partners, ministries, agencies, provinces and city enterprises, individuals and organizations inside and outside the country for your accompanying MONRE in promoting the initiative to fight against plastic waste. With the NPOP in Vietnam, I would like to declare the closing of the ceremony today. I'd like to wish all of you very good health, happiness, and great success. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Võ Tuấn Nhân, Vice Minister of MONRE of Vietnam, with the strong involvement of government agency, organizations, and agency. I strongly believe that in the coming time, the plastic waste in Vietnam will be reduced greatly in the coming time. Each organization and individual will join hand and contribute our own efforts to combat plastic waste and plastic use in Vietnam. So the launching ceremony of the NPOP and the project on mitigating marine plastic debris in Vietnam has ended. Thank you very much for your great attendance. I'd like to wish all of you very good health, success, and a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Thank you very much.